Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Suman Agarwal, co-founder and director of Image Consulting Business Institute. Welcome everyone. Hi Sushma. Hi Lavina. Hi Charita. Hi Bhavya. Hi Himasha. Hi Haspreet. Good to have you all here. Hi Dipali. Hello Shikha. Alright, so we have a very special guest here today. We have a very senior employee, senior consultant with us. Her name is Vaishali Wagle, a very senior professional from the corporate sector, and she's been a consultant, image consultant, and a soft skills trainer. She has been an executive coach. Vaishali has been in this industry for a very long time. Let's see if Vaishali's already joined in. And if we can see, she's already here. Yes, she's already here, and I'm going to accept her request right away. Here. Hi, Vishali.
Good afternoon, Suman.
Seeing you after ages.
I know. So good to see you.
I know, seeing you almost after like 4 years, right?
I think so. You haven't changed a
Yeah.
bit.
Even you are just the same.
Thanks.
Charming as ever.
Thank you so much. ICBI का कमाल है.
So, how is life treating you?
Going well. I can't complain. God has been kind, so it's been nice.
Fantastic. Super. So great to see you here on this platform on Spotlight with Suman, and let's get started.
I'm excited. I think, like I mentioned, this is probably my sort of that first Insta Live kind of experience. So very excited about this.
Yes, there's always a first
And
time.
that too with you, Suman. So looking forward.
Super. So describe your life before you actually joined ICBI. What were you doing?
I think you said a little bit about me in the introduction. So I have been in the corporate industry for quite some time. And before ICBI, I was heading an investment banking technology team in one of the large MNC banks. I had lived in the US and UK for a few years and had just returned to India, kind of reacclimatizing, working back in the country. And it was 2012 when ICBI happened for me. So that was, in some sense, a turning point in the way I did things, not just in the professional space, but even otherwise.
And tell us about your family. Who all are there in your family, and what does everyone do?
So I come from a family of educators and entrepreneurs in that sense. And the reason I say that is my mom, my grandmom have all been professors at universities. And my dad had his engineering consulting firm. And now I'm married to a sports enthusiast. He currently works as a risk advisory consultant, and he also had his own sports management firm. So dabbling in education sector and a little bit of entrepreneurship here and there has been our family background. I have a little one now. Well, not so little anymore. She's 12 years old, and I live in Mumbai.
Great. So, Vaishali, you have been a part of organizations like Citigroup and JP Morgan, and you have been in the industry for almost, in the corporate sector for almost 22 years. I'm really keen on knowing that what really inspired you to get out of the corporate world and get into image consulting and corporate, soft skills. I mean, now that's like your forte, coaching and soft skills training, and this is what you really love doing. So what really inspired you to get into this industry, leaving your corporate industry and moving completely into, image and soft skills? What was your motivation?
I think it was a few things that sort of came together at that point in time. And I can really remember vividly some of these things. So one was a very chance encounter with this person. And I'll describe you how it went. So she was sitting in the park with a fashion magazine, I think, in her hand, and very casually browsing through it and looking at her toddler who was playing in the park. I think that just that image of her intrigued me, and out of curiosity, which is very unlike me to just randomly walk up to somebody and say, so what do you do? And I did that. And she happened to tell me that she's an image consultant. I had never heard this term before. So that was the first sort of ding that went in. The next day, there was a newspaper ad in the Times, I think, about ICBI. And I read this term again, second time, image consultant. It was, remember that the universe is wanting you to learn something new sort of thing happened in my mind. And I then came to one of your orientation or overview programs, again, out of curiosity. And something you said there, Suman, really made me say, yes, that's the answer I'm looking for. I think that was the turning point when I said...
What did I say?
I won't remember verbatim exactly what you said, but I'll tell you what I was looking for. So in my corporate life, I had been through sort of different kinds of roles, but primarily in banking technology. And there was a point where I think my perception in the organization had changed pretty dramatically. It's one of those backstories that I even today recount as I speak about myself. And I never had the answer to what had happened. I did not know this term, image consulting. I didn't know personal branding existed. And so I kept looking for what changed, what made people think of me so differently and not in a good way. And that suddenly was the answer that came out in that orientation, which you were conducting. That image is also something that you should pay attention to. It speaks louder. And after a point, I think in anybody's corporate life, I think there is the presence and the image that starts to play a very critical role. I think those few things started coming together. It wasn't an easy decision to join the program in the first place because I was working full time, a very demanding job. I had a little one, a 2.5-year-old daughter, and I said, oh my God, how do I leave her all this time? As it is, I'm out of the house most of the time. But I think it was finally the push from my husband who said, no, just do it. You feel like doing it, just do it. And it was Sundays. I still remember coming every Sunday to the center for the trainings. So those were some of the, few things that triggered a thought in me that there is something telling me to do something different, not banking, not technology. And it was a beautiful feeling.
Superb. And let me compliment you, by the way. You've really relaxed from the time I've met you. I mean, that time and that point of time. Because that time I think I was meeting a top-notch corporate head. and you were like the corporate head at that point of time, and I think you really, become very chilled out in life now. So that's something that's truly commendable. I mean, you've really, changed over the last couple of years. So that's a change that I can observe. That's very evident.
As they say, you have to try it on yourself first.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally, agree with that.
Yeah.
So what kind of assignments do you undertake, and who are your clients?
So a lot of my background plays a role in the kind of assignments I do and even in the clients. And I think I've been very fortunate to be working with some of the best brands in the country and some even international. So these are primarily been in the banking, so BFSI and tech sectors. So even otherwise like Tata Groups or Reliance Group, ICICI Group, Bajaj, Yes Bank. So you'll see a lot of similar kind of banking, and then there are a lot of entrepreneurs. With India nowadays buzzing with so many new startups, that has been another small sector that I like as my clientele. And then the third bit, which is institutes.
Are they more one-on-ones, or they are more corporate trainings kind of a assignment that you are more involved with?
It is both. It's both. Generally for senior executives, so either CXX or director levels, it's one-on-ones. And that is where my coaching now is the primary area of focus. And otherwise with their one downs, so mid management, it has been group coaching.
Okay, and is it
so I sort of look at this as pre-COVID and post-COVID. I think pre-COVID there used to be large-scale workshops, which now doesn't happen, but there have been small group workshops.
In fact, that is what I was asking, that is it all through webinar, all on webinar mode, or everything has started now moving on to the physical classes, physical sessions?
Still mostly online. I haven't yet gone into like a classroom or a workshop in that sense from a physical standpoint. One-to-one, some of them have turned now into physical format because people have started coming back into offices, are more comfortable to meet. But not yet. My memory of workshop is a large ballroom with 100, 200 people sitting and you conducting a workshop. So that hasn't yet happened. So it is, I keep thinking of it as pre-COVID. I wonder when that will happen again.
Absolutely. So what is that one experience that you would like to share, which is like absolutely close to your heart? One memory, your work memory.
Work memory. There are lots of work memories, but I think one thing that has changed me quite a bit, actually there are two things that have changed me quite a bit, and probably here I will have to go back to the comment that you just shared with me that I have changed. And this was you, Suman, who back when I was going through the ICBI program, you had said something to me, which was, Vaishali, if you continue to remain like this, it is going to be difficult for clients to feel comfortable with you. And that was such a, what? What do you mean, Suman? What do you mean they will not be comfortable with me? And that is when you went on to tell me about the fact, remember the style scale that we learn, and you said you don't come across as very approachable. You're very authoritative and people will find it very difficult to be comfortable. And that has stayed with me so strongly. Baki sub trainers on one side, that one statement just made such a huge impact. And I said, if that is the case, then irrespective of clients or no clients, I think I don't want to come across as non-approachable. I really want to be, I may not be overly friendly. I'm an introvert, but I'm definitely not non-approachable. So how do I change that was one learning experience. So it's more a learning experience. And I think when I now work with a lot of my clients from very similar backgrounds, so women, so very senior women in the industry, a lot of times they face very similar kind of dilemma, which is you are a strong leader and you've done this on the basis of merit, and then at times you're looked upon as very authoritative, very aggressive, or whatever, whereas you're not that. So how do I help them really really find the answers, which sort of helped me a few years ago, I think has been, and when I see that change in a person, I find it really, really satisfying. And those are some of the most memorable, close to heart experiences that I've had.
So in very not so clear terms, I was about to say that only, that you have become much more approachable. Yeah, that was exactly what I wanted to say. And that's a good change. That's a very, very pleasant change that I can see.
Thank you.
So how did you get your first paid client? I mean, this is something which I think everybody who's watching us live would like to hear from you, because everybody is very keen to understand that how does one get their first paid client, and including me, I would be very interested to know that, how does one get their first paid client, and what was the whole experience like?
My first paid client was after I completed the ICBI certification. Again, I was still working and I had my job, so it wasn't as if I was eager to quickly start doing some paid assignments. But the first client is someone I'm still in touch with, and that came through an ICBI referral. So ICBI was the one who gave me that first client. In fact, ICBI gave me my first 2 clients in that sense. And this, again, very, very vivid memories. I still have the envelope in which the client had given me the image scope fees, that I've written on that envelope that this is my first fees of the image consulting. And it was a one-to-one assignment to work with him on enhancing his image and personal brand. It was a wonderful experience, very, mixed feelings of, oh my God, I hope I do the right thing. And, this person is trusting so much in the fact that I'll do something better for him. But the fact that as I started trying out what I learned in the course and giving the inputs, I could see even this individual absorbing a few things, making the change, and that those little tiny steps that he took as we went along the entire program was very good for me. It was a reassurance for me that, yeah, this works. It is not just an experiment on myself, but yeah, it works. So he was the one who I think gave me again the confidence that I should pursue this further and work more on it.
Amazing, amazing. So you really felt, and I mean, after this first client that you got, did you really start believing in the concept of image management and soft skills after that, or you had that belief from the beginning itself?
I'll be honest, I was like this, does it really need so much of image management, or, we've done our education, that should be more than enough, and so on. So I was that. Even when I studied image management, there were aspects which I totally bought into. And then there were some aspects which I think naturally I did not gravitate towards much. And I felt, I don't think I relate to this much, or I don't think I'll be good at helping others on certain concepts. So I had that bit in mind all the time, that ye kar sakte hai, wo nahi kar sakte hai, and all of it, right? So that happened. But when I started to see it being applied, so I kept applying on myself, like any good student, you keep trying out on yourself. So that was there. But when you start to see a change in another person because of something you have done, I think that was a newfound reassurance for me. So the first 3 clients, I would say, were the best sort of support I got to reassure that this works and this really is something not just a few people, but so many people are in need of. So how do I make that more available?
So do you think that a combination of image management and soft skills is like a holistic approach and gives like a 360-degree solution to somebody's requirement, or only image and only soft skills is more than enough for somebody to somebody who is looking for any kind of a specific need? I mean, that itself is more than enough to satisfy somebody's requirement.
So I think it is person dependent a lot of times. Some people are very in tune with the image management concepts. So if we were to speak of some of our image management concepts, like your appearance matters, and then the way you speak matters, what you speak, etc. Right? I think some people are already in tune with it. They do recognize that, and they're paying attention to it. Maybe they need a little bit of fine tuning here and there. And then there's a whole other spectrum which has just never understood this concept, me included, pre-2012, where you were what you were as a result of the way you were brought up, as a result of your education, as a result of whatever other circumstances. I think that group will need more image management, understanding that science, and knowing how to do better at that. And then finally, soft skills, I guess. When you say soft skills, I'm just thinking of it as more better communication, better presence. I think everybody needs that. Everybody needs that. So it cannot be something that one or the other. And unfortunately, our universities and our schools don't teach it. So then it is left to people to either learn it on their own through observing others, or probably through any of the learning programs.
And in terms of soft skills, what are the most important or the most common skills for which people approach you?
Multiple. I think in the past, I would do workshops pretty much on everything or anything that people thought of that they needed help with, right? So I did workshops on just communication skills. I did workshops on interviewing skills. I did small scale interventions on presentations and stage presence, and how to speak like a TED talk, like anything and everything that you would ask for. And then finally, I think that is a point, again, last couple of years, where I said, I can't be doing everything for everybody. I need to find what am I really great at, and which is that group of people that I want to really, really work with. And that's where now I focus on my core skills and my strengths, which is executive presence. And when you think of executive presence, in some sense, it encompasses a lot of how you come across to the other person. Your presence matters at work, your presence matters at home, and how are you able to exhibit that, whatever industry you come from. And then personal brand consulting, more for individuals in terms of image management techniques.
All right. So Vaishali, you are into image consulting, you are into coaching executives and entrepreneurs. What are the areas where people, like I have already asked you, that, what are the areas where you think that people need maximum guidance?
Maximum
guidance.
Okay. I think, so before I sort of share that, I think it's important that I share with you. So when I did my image consulting a few years into that, I started feeling I have taught everything that I knew of. So and I keep saying taught, but whatever, I've consulted everything that I knew of to my clients. And the client would still be looking for some answers. What else is there? How can I do this better? I still find some of these areas. And I kept wondering, what is it that they're looking for? I can't seem to keep feeding answers like this all the time. And there is something that is no longer generic in the way they're asking. And that's when coaching as a new opportunity, as a new world of learning opened up. And I went on to study coaching and got myself certified. I then further went on to do my accreditation. And today I'm a professional coach accredited with the International Coach Federation, where I can now bring all of these concepts together. So I'm able to bring the image and personal branding concepts and the coaching concepts into helping people on some of these very key things that they're looking for. So given that my clientele is mostly from a corporate sector, either executives or entrepreneurs, I think they look for three things. One, either leadership related things. So how can I know my strengths better? How do I know my limitations better? And how can I really take those actions to become a better style of a leader? The second thing, mostly the clients that I've worked with are looking for career related. So career growth. I'm at a certain level. How do I move from here to the next level? Or how do I've taken a sabbatical. How do I go back into the workforce again? Or I want to start something of my own. I've been an employee for so many years. How do I start something of my own? And a lot of these are not trainings anymore. These are more coaching conversations because the answers lie within them. So as a coach, I'm able to help them address and bring out those answers. And finally, more recently has been the wellness related, which is the third element. So, and this is where a little bit of image comes in because it's all about how do I work on better self-confidence, better self-esteem? How do I feel like I belong here? All of that and other wellness related. So I think these broadly are the three areas: leadership, career, and wellness, where I find myself doing a lot of work.
Fantastic. So how do you stay relevant in today's times, and what is your mantra of keeping yourself updated and constantly upgrading yourself?
So I've been somebody who likes to learn always, and it was always about banking or about technology for the past so many years. And I think since ICBI, and I don't know if this sounds good or bad, but since ICBI, I think I'm going slowly away from technology and more into learning about other aspects of life. And the beauty of it, I think my mom will be really proud of what I study nowadays, because she would always tell me, there's so much else, so many other subjects out there, and you're constantly into your engineering stuff. And now I study a lot of that. So psychology has been a new space, especially with coaching coming in. So I study a lot of that. Coaching, of course, as a field itself, needed a lot of time again. So it was one more like after image consulting, attending the classes and doing the certification, coaching became the second space that I went into, again, back to a study mode. And now I think my biggest area of study is this elements of polarities and positive psychology. How do I bring that into the work that I'm doing? So, finding those ways in which the content can be enriched so people are able to really take the best possible answers that they're seeking in very simple ways. Like, how do I simplify the complex stuff that is out there? That's, I think, my current work.
And how do you implement that in your coaching profession?
So, like I said, there was this time where I did everything for everybody. I think now it is just trying to create some frameworks in a way that people can actively find their answers. So I love frameworks. I think this just goes back to how I have learned some of these things. But frameworks feel to be one of those areas. So I keep creating new frameworks, of course, for finding those answers or seeking those answers. And like any good trainer would tell you, test it out on a small group and see how badly it works or how beautiful it works, right? So that continues to be the work. I think today, with a lot of the online explosion literally that has happened, we have access to so many other people in similar fields. So I'm able to learn a lot just in the comfort of my home and not having to step out. So that gives a brand new aspect of learning from so many who've done this kind of work before me. And that's another piece that helps. But for me, minimalism is the important bit, right? I don't like too much and too many. How can I do it in the simplest, most optimal way is the constant sort of thing to go after.
So how do you plan your day? I mean, what does your day look like when I see somebody's day? I mean, do you have enough time for yourself to learn, to read, to take out time to do sessions, your some me time with your child? I mean, do you have enough time to take care of all these things for yourself?
Yes. Simple answer is yes. Um, it's not easy for this to happen, but it is those conscious choices that one makes. And I think for me, if I just look at the priority, these things come first. I need to have the time for learning. I need to have the time with my family. I need to have time just for myself. So that comes is there up in the priority. So it's not like 100th on the priority list. So it is there. Uh, I do think there are times where I overstretch myself suddenly. So when you say how does my day look like, my days are quite different. So one day looks very different from the other. So it's not like a very fixed pattern of work. Um, so there are days when it is quite full of work and I have multiple one after the other things happening. And then there are days when it is spaced out. I find myself now getting used to this kind of a pattern. It wasn't how I used to work before, obviously, but I think I find myself getting used to it. I do get restless sometimes when there are lots of lull periods of time, and I'm like, okay, what's happening? Nothing seems to be happening. But then I think then those are the times that I spend in learning and developing myself.
And are you a hands-on mother, or you give enough time and enough break to your child to take care of herself on her own?
I don't know what a hands-on mother is. If you mean, am I behind my daughter most of the time, nagging her or something? Well, a little bit, yes. I'm sure she would be looking forward to going back to school now, given that
All of them are.
the
All
online
of them
the
are.
online bit has really managed to mess up. But I do find myself at times thinking, am I doing enough as a mother? And this is after I have really done everything that any mother would do. So, there are those times that one does feel that way. But I am a very, in that sense, a hands-on mother. I don't feel that's a responsibility I can really delegate to anyone. I'm happy to delegate everything else except this bit.
Yeah, I think all of us have that feeling that are we doing enough for our children, and do we feel that sense that we have enough responsibility, and are we taking care of our responsibility pretty well? So I think we all have that kind of a feeling every now and then. And I think it's absolutely novel and it's absolutely fine. So I think we are all doing our bit and we are doing pretty well for ourselves.
That is true. Like nobody teaches you parenting, right? You keep learning it by either observing your parents or by making mistakes on your child. So you keep learning as you go along. I guess that's the
So
best
true.
way to learn it. So
So true.
we
So
are all
true.
learning.
Absolutely. So Vaishali, what is your growth strategy in terms of what role does social media play in your life? So you just said that you are running away from technology, you're moving away from technology, but technology doesn't leave you in some way or the other. And I do see you being very active on LinkedIn as well. I mean, you do have a strategy on LinkedIn, and you do have certain things that you keep posting on Fridays, right? So, which platform gives you maximum output in terms of giving you certain results, or generating some sort of work or some sort of business for you? So which platform, in terms of, is it Facebook, is it Instagram, or is it LinkedIn, where do you feel that you have like-minded people who are there and who are interacting with you, and they are the ones who are the right kind of target audience for somebody like you?
My current go-to platform is LinkedIn. And I believe that's where I find my comfort, in the fact that the audience there is my current target audience for the kind of work that I do. I'm also on Instagram and therefore linked into Facebook. Um, I would say I'm very new to the whole Instagram bit. It is one of my very dear friends, Megha, who was like, "But you have to be on Instagram. How can you not be on Insta?" Right? So it's one of those like, you have to do this and please be on it. So I said, okay, fine. I'll do the exact same thing what I do on LinkedIn on Instagram. Does that work for you? And she said, yeah, just start something. So I started with that. The Friday with that you said. So I have been writing a blog every Friday for 3 years, and it has been a blog first just on LinkedIn. Then I moved to Medium, and then again I was told, but we don't have time to read the blog. And I said, it's less than 5 minutes. Like, people can read less than 5 minutes, right? Yeah, but the new generation wants it on a video. Like, give us small clippings. So all my newer friends, clients that I'm working. So then again, it was Megha and one more person, Rohit, an ex-client. They pushed me into like, can you create videos about this? And I really was very uncomfortable with the video business. And I said, I can't see myself on a video. And best part, I can't hear myself again. Like, to get that video edited, I'll have to hear myself. I think I can't do that. But they're like, no, you have to do it. And so the vlogs or the video logs of Friday Musings started happening. I got a pretty decent response on that. People were like, yeah, this is great. It's so convenient. We're loving it. Keep doing it. So now there is like additional push from people to say, no, keep doing it. So every Friday, there is one big activity that I have to go through, which is put myself through this whole video creation.
Oh, but that's been where because I haven't seen any video on any of the LinkedIn platform.
So LinkedIn, the videos are sometimes there, or I give a link to Insta.
Okay.
Yeah. So which actually now takes me into YouTube. So this is now the next word thrown at me. How come you're not on YouTube and you have to be on YouTube? And I'm every few months, I have my friends pushing me to do something new. So I guess the YouTube is going to be the next bit for me to tackle. So this is where I keep saying, right, as a technologist, I should have been so savvy with all of these. Like when you said Insta Live, I'm like, how does this whole thing work anyway? But that's been the journey of learning the new social media. I think it's been very important. My clientele has come from LinkedIn, and majority of the work has been word of mouth right now. So it's just either reach out through LinkedIn. So people have reached out through LinkedIn saying, I read about this and I see you do this kind of work, etc. Or they speak to somebody else, and that's the kind of work that has emerged. So LinkedIn has been the most go-to platform. These others are relatively new, but I think I now have to give it a lot more attention.
Amazing. So Vaishali, one last question for you. What is your message for all those people who are aspiring to become image consultants and soft skills trainers?
My message for them. I think there are always reasons for why you want to do what you want to do. So when you think of that, just this field of image consulting is so vast. And I still remember in the group, in the cohort that I was learning, we had people from very different backgrounds. I constantly remember I kept standing out as, and I still remember you and Mr. Agarwal would keep pointing to me that she's the banker and but then we had people who came from a hotel industry, somebody who has been a housewife and so on and so forth. So everybody had very different, I guess, backgrounds from where they came into this field. And I think anybody who's looking to come into the field of image management and consulting should recognize how can they bring their own strengths and the background that they come from and combine it with your image skills that you learn. Like when you sort of marry that together and you put your passion on it, you will find yourself doing some great work. You'll find yourself doing work in the most relatable area. So don't push yourself to doing everything. I remember, I think when I started the first few clients, I felt I did work related to even personal shopping and then wardrobe audit. Now, wardrobe audit was fun because most of my clients, and I'm so blessed to have these kind of people, right? So, you know, they will be like, okay, come home, and then you're coming for lunch, and then either, you know, meet the wife or the husband, and there would be such a lavish lunch and all that. So I'm like, काम करने जा रही हूँ कि किसी के घर party पे जा रही हूँ, ऐसा हो रहा है. But just the fact that, you know, I didn't feel I was really enjoying the kind of wardrobe audit work or the personal shopping work. But then find the collaborators, because you will find somebody else who's great at that. So as an image consultant, it's good to find your specialization and then collaborate. Because you'll have so many image consultants. We are all in this industry together. So find somebody whose niche is makeup, or find somebody that's not my area. Like I still don't get the whole thing. But find somebody who gets to do something specialization and then come together and make that as a common.
So, Vaishali, did you collaborate with any image consultant at any given point of time for any of the services?
Yes, I did. There was also a time where there was work coming in the way that I couldn't handle. My dates did not permit that. So I even just sort of handed off to others and said, this is yours to do.
Okay. All right. So great. I think the best thing about, whatever you discussed just now is that you didn't feel that, okay, image is not my forte. You still said that, okay, I did image audit and I did this and I did this about image, and you did not discard image completely, and you did not say that, okay, the image is not my cup of tea. You did take image along with you, and then you married soft skills with image, and then you took image along with soft skills. So you did, carry both these things holistically, and then you do give these services together, whenever, as and when it is required, accordingly.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think I will ever leave the image part of the work. I am myself a living example that it works. And I can see that a lot of people will find when they work on these aspects, they will find the benefit of it. So I don't think I will ever leave this out. To the point that I've even created an online course. So I have a course now on Udemy on personal branding, and it's doing really well. So I think the space is tremendous for people. So I think we are taught this as well, right? So when you think of image management, you have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. For me, 1, 2, 3 becomes my strength. For 4 and 5, I've still done it. So you may if you speak to my clients, they'll say, oh, she did a great job in 4 and 5 as well. I personally may not have found it as enjoyable. So that's where, find the person who enjoys this more than you and let them do that is big. So very recently, in a couple of collaborations, I had some of ICBI's newest students pass out, join me as I was working on individual clients. So they had come along.
Brilliant. Super. Vaishali, thank you so much. This was a great conversation, and meeting and interacting with you virtually also was like a brilliant experience. I definitely look forward to meeting you in person also very soon. I hope this happens also very soon, but nonetheless, whenever it happens, it definitely should happen soon. So all the very best, and I hope that you take your brand to the next level. And I hope social media works for you, although you may or may not like technology, but technology ke bina kuch nahi chalta aajkal. So wish you all the success, and whenever, as you know, needless to say, whenever you need us, ICBI, Suman Agarwal, Rakesh Agarwal is always there for you, with you, by you.
Thank you so much, Suman. I know for a fact that you all are always there, because whenever I've reached out to you or Mr. Agarwal, I've always found some great advice and help. So thank you for being there. And thank you for being that turning point in my life that has brought me to where I am today. Immensely grateful for that. And for this lovely Insta Live opportunity. I think I've fallen in love with this particular thing. So more to Insta Lives. And you're doing some tremendous work, Suman, with the Spotlight with Suman series and helping image consultants and others come and speak about themselves. So very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you all the viewers who are watching this Insta Live today. We'll connect once again next week. Until then, this is Vaishali Wagle and Suman Agarwal signing off for today. Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone.